to it. So, the purpose of this, we're going over trucking in general. It's a very generalized, rounded approach to trucking. This is my 90-day review. I have been consistently driving for 90 days. I've been consistently getting miles and consistently growing within this field. Now that was not very, it was hard work and well earned, but it was also rapid at the same time. So keep in mind, everybody's situation is different. Every company is different. Things may not always line up like how you want them to. So I do have a list. So if you see me looking off, here we go. Really, it's just 6 topics right now, but they're going to be crucial topics that I haven't heard a whole lot on. So I hope it's useful. As usual, I'll start off by saying, number 1, always do your own research. Number 2, go into this field prepared for the worst and hoping for the best. It's my philosophy in life, all right? That and always be better than you were 5 minutes ago. You remember those 3 things, you'll be fine. Trucking, before you start to make the decision into trucking, is you need to address your own mindset. Now, most people with a job, or most jobs, they don't require a lot of thinking on your own behalf. You know, you have a manager there that's going to tell you, all right, time to clock in, check in at this time, do this, do that, do et cetera, et cetera. With trucking, you can't do that. So there are 2 types of people in the world. One, you have type A, which is self-driven. They're going to make sure that they, let me rephrase that. Type A is lazy, all right? In general, we are a lazy race. People are lazy in general. We like the same thing. We like routine. We like stability. We like being told what to do. We like being told, okay, I need to be at work 8:30 in the morning. Take lunch 12:45 for 30 minutes. Then go home 3:30, 4 o'clock. Okay, we like those things. So you have type A is lazy. Type B is self-driven. You need to determine which one you are. If you are lazy, trucking is just not going to work for you. It's straight up, because you don't have someone there holding your hand 24/7. You don't have someone that you can go around the corner and be like, hey, this problem arrived. What is the solution for it? So with being self-driven, being self-driven breaks into 2 categories. You have the independent person that's self-driven, and then you have the dependent person that's self-driven. What I mean by that is the independent person, they are going to do everything on their own. They're going to encounter the problem, evaluate said problem, and fix said problem, but they're not going to wait for someone else. The dependent self-driven person is the person that is going to encounter the problem, come to you and say, before they're going to be a little bit proactive and be like, hey, this problem is arising. What is the solution for it? And if you take too long, then they will fix it. All right. You need to be an independent, self-driven person in trucking, because once again, you don't have a manager there to hold your hand. If you are going into teams, that is different, because you have someone else you can kind of hash out topics and solutions to a problem. You can hash out ideas, but usually that's not the case. Another thing that you need in your mental state, you need to be a critical thinker. You need to be able to look at your situation, improve or fix your situation. You need to be able to change it on the fly. You need to be able to say, okay, for instance, if I get a route and say I need to take US 250. US 250 is an excellent road to take, except for like 30 miles of it, which is the very last end. So if you get on it too far, your ass out of luck. Like, you're screwed, because it's a windy road. It's a lot of steep grades, which in trucking, that combination can be lethal. Now, if you're running heavy, not, oh, I'm at 30,000 pounds. That's not heavy. If you're running 50,000 pounds and up in total, like with me, I usually run 77, 80,000 pounds. For me, a 5% grade and windy road, I'm not doing that. So in critical thinking, you need to know, okay, I've got 6 hours to get it there. How can I reroute around this? And you need to do it while you're driving. You need to be able to sit there and stop for 5 minutes, fix the situation, and keep it moving. All right. That goes into your problem solving skills. If you don't have good problem solving skills, you might want to work on those before you come out. There's a very shallow learning curve with trucking. It's steep. there is a lot of things that you need to learn and pick up quickly, but there is not a lot of place for mistakes. Out here, to look at it like, if you make a mistake, you die. That's simple. If you don't die, someone else dies. If you make a mistake, you're fired. It's that simple. If you keep that mindset, you can always not make said mistake. For instance, being late is not a mistake. That's something that, okay, you miscalculated, send in a notification, hey, I'm not going to be there such this time, I'll be there such this time. Okay, cool, they can work with that. However, hitting a car because your mirrors were improperly adjusted, that's a mistake. That can potentially be fatal, or you can be fired. So you need to make sure that you have your problem-solving skills up to par for what you're going to be doing. The next one is the type of personalities. If you are an extrovert, trucking can be difficult for you. If you feel the need to be a social butterfly and talk to people all the time, and you need parties and you need company, etc., etc., if you feel like you need other people in your life to make your life complete, it's probably not the best. However, if you are an introvert and you can stay to yourself and keep your nose out of other people's business and be like, hey, I'm gonna ride solo for a minute, and I don't need to talk to nobody every day. I don't need to see people every day. I don't need to see the family all the time. I don't need to see my friends. Then you will make it, straight up. Because there are times when you can go weeks without seeing people. Without seeing, not people, but without seeing people that you know, people you want to hang out with. There can be weeks at a time where you don't see your friends. Hey, man. And then when you get off, it's like, look, I'm not coming through. I'm tired. I'm going to do A, B, and C instead of coming out and partying. All right. So keep that in mind. That's the kind of mindset you want to have coming out here. All right. Topic number 2 is your home time and time off. Every company will promise you home time. This is the promise versus reality section of home time, because I know for me anyway, learning the concept of home time was a bit challenging. So typically, if you are home every day, obviously home time doesn't apply to you. If you are home every weekend, it kind of applies, but not as much. However, if you're going over the road or OTR, home time is crucial. And planning that home time is crucial. So let's say, for instance, with me, I want to be home on the weekend, Friday through Sunday. Friday, if I put it in saying I want to be home on Friday, they're going to be like, okay, we'll get you home on Friday. Now, in your mind, you're thinking you're going to have all day and all night Friday. Not the case. The reality, the promise is that they will get you home on Friday. You will be home on Friday. The reality is that you will be getting home on Friday. That can be Friday at 7 a.m. or Friday at 4 p.m. But you will be home on Friday. So, what I would advise to you is to say, when you want home time, request it for a day ahead of when you want to be home, because it's typically 24-hour periods. So what I do, if I want to be home on Friday, I will request to be home on Thursday. That way, I'm home Friday. I'm home Saturday. So I still get my 3 days, but I let them know. I word it. It's like, hey, I need to be home on Friday. I know that's the day y'all usually work to get me home, so I'm going to put it in for Thursday, but I really want my home time to start on Friday. That typically works. Now, with your home time, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. Typically, everywhere you go, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. You are out for a week, you earn a day. So you're out 3 weeks, that's the sweet spot. You earn a weekend. You earn 72 hours. If what I was doing, I was out for 5 weeks and I would be home for 5 days. That was my sweet spot, because I've already worked out of state. I've worked away from home. I have a long history of being able to say, I'm not going to see you for a few weeks. Goodbye. So yes, your location for that. A lot of places will allow you to set your home location wherever you want it to be. So you can legit take home time at your home, or you can take home time in a whole nother state. You have the option. That is an option for you. So you can legit travel and be like, oh, I want to take my home time in Arizona. Or I want to take my home time in Connecticut or Kentucky. Doesn't matter. As long as you have somewhere safe that you can park the truck, or you can get a ride from a terminal to wherever you're trying to be. Then you have paid versus unpaid. Now, a lot of companies, if you're with them for a year, you're with them for a while, they do offer PTO. That is your paid time off. Still counts as home time, but you're paid. Other than that, anytime that you at home and you're not on the clock, on duty, or the truck isn't moving, you're not making no money. So it's all unpaid. All right. And going back to the first point on how to apply for it effectively, remember, the first day that you are applying for home time is the day the companies are typically working to get you home. That means you will be there at any time. So plan a day in advance. All right, just plan for it that way. It'll make life so much easier. Topic 3 is going to be your miles driven versus your downtime. This is essentially how you get paid. So, of course, your miles, everyone gets mileage pay. If you run local, everyone gets hourly pay. You've got 2 types of miles. You loaded miles and unloaded, or your deadhead. Your loaded miles, that's what you get paid for. You're running freight, you're running a commodity, that's where you get paid. Your unloaded miles, just assume you're not getting paid for it. If you get with a company that will pay you unloaded miles, cool. If not, hey, don't stress it, because ain't nobody really doing that. There's not a lot of people that's doing that. Your downtime. Downtime is like waiting for loads, truck needs repairs, so on and so on. Really, I consider downtime as I'm waiting for another load. And that can be quite aggravating at times, because you personally don't know when your next load is coming, but you can expect it within the next 24 hours, typically within the next 3 to 4 hours. And then you will go to wherever it is and get there, or you'll pick it up. Or if you're running like reefer or refrigerator box or dry van, sometimes you'll get loaded at the same place you drop off and keep on going to the next spot. That's how that is. If you're with a company that has you doing more deadheading than driving loaded, that's chasing miles. That's something that you want to try and avoid. Excuse me. A way that you can minimize your downtime is simple. When you get to, you can send in your messages, send in your macros, or whatever your company wants to call it. Send in your messages on time or early. So what I did to minimize my downtime was, as soon as I get to the location, or within, when I get to the location, boom, off duty, I'm at the location. Okay. Literally put my truck in park, pull my brakes, I'm at the location. Then what I do is I go on ahead, check in, do what I have to do. While I am waiting, or just halfway before I'm finished being unloaded, I will let them know I am empty and I want another load. I told my driver manager when I started, I don't want to sit for more than 2-3 hours. Don't have me sit for that long, because if so, then I'm going to take longer to run your loads, and they don't want that. Now that works for me because of how I deal with people, how I conduct business. So I told them straight up, I was like, I don't want to sit. I'm not going to sit. And a way that I got that known for the company that I'm with and for my driver manager and my team was that I made sure I was early. I did whatever I had to do running legal to be early. 2-3 hours, okay, if I needed to be. So if my appointment was at 11, best believe I'd be at your door at 6 a.m. in the morning. And I'm waiting for you to get there. Now, what that does for me is I can say I'm there and I'm early. So as soon as 11 o'clock hits, if you haven't started unloading me yet, I send a message saying, hey, I've been here for this long. I've been ahead of my appointment time. I now want detention pay because I did my job and I did it well. So that goes into more about how you get paid. We'll talk about that later. But you minimize your downtime by sending in your messages effectively, being known for not wanting to wait, being known for being on time or early. If you're late, they're not going to give a damn about you sitting and waiting, because they're like, you late all the time anyway, oh well, you can take your time. You like taking your time, so we're going to take our time. That's basically how they look at you. You tires to the ground, and you hauling ass up down the road, we going to make sure we match your energy. Just look at it like that. They match what you give them. Now with that, you have another very important part, which is knowing your timing. Your timing in trucking, timing is everything. It is everything. Okay. I practically live my life by a 2-hour clock because I do flatbed. I have to stop every 2 hours, check my stuff. However, a quick breakdown of your timing. So you have an 8-to-30 ratio, which means within 8 hours, you need to take 30 minutes. You have to, guaranteed. 30 minutes off duty. It's your break. So you have to take that. Then you have an 11-14. So you can only drive 11 hours and work 14 in a day. Then you have an 8-to-70. So within 8 days, you can only hit a max of 70 hours. After that, you're done. You got to sit for 34 hours. So that's an easy way to break it down. 8-to-30, 11-to-14, 8-to-70. All right. And keeping your clock, it's going to put you on a rotating schedule. So you're going to be some days working nights, some days working days, vice versa. And you're going to flip-flop back and forth. That all comes with your, I'm sorry, I forgot one. You also have a 11-to-10. Or a 14-to-10, which basically just means that within your workday you need 10 hours off duty in between shifts. So simple. Now that 10 hours is a way that you can reset your clock, you can reset your time, etc., etc. The last point on the time is having no time and having extra time. If you have no time, that is when you run your clock down. When you are about to be out of time, that comes with poor planning, poor decision making, poor critical thinking. If you have extra time, that means you're shutting down an hour, 2 hours extra left on your clock. That helps you keep running in the long run. That helps extend your 70 hours within an 8-day work week. That helps to keep you moving, keep you getting paid. So those are going to be, the 4 main topics that I've picked up within my 90 days, things that I've gotten really down on, I've gotten really down packed. This will continue at a later time because I gotta go. Got my next load is ready, and I just saw them bring it out, which is what I've been keeping an eye on. So I hope this video was helpful. If not, I'm sorry. If it is, you're welcome. Thank you. And I will see y'all out there. Stay safe and watch out for people in cars.